Welcome to Mallet and Michelle. I'm Michelle and this is Steve. Hello to the astronauts from Artemis.
Hello, hello.
Hello. And I just really hope that someone loves me as much as one of the astronauts that named a moon after his deceased wife. Did you?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
no.
they named it Carol.
Carol?
Carol.
The moon? What moon is this?
It's a moon behind the moon.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, really, but it's named
Did
Carol.
you see this on TikTok?
Yeah, I did. I see that. It's
Okay,
where I
then
get
it
all my
must be
news.
true.
It's
It
where I
has to
get
be true.
all of my news, Mallet.
Oh,
It's
God.
so
The
today.
most romantic stories on TikTok, brought to you by Michelle.
Well, no. Apparently, his wife Carol passed away. I think it was in 2020, and all of they discovered this new moon, or I don't know what it is.
I don't understand that. We have been behind the moon before. Apollo 13 was there.
Actually, these astronauts have gone the farthest
The
of
farthest,
any
but they
human ever, and now they have.
Explain this to me, scientific Michelle.
Okay.
They said that, I mean, if that moon was there already, why didn't Apollo 13 see it?
Well, maybe it was hiding. Maybe it didn't want to be seen
It
at
was
that
a
time.
hidden-
Yeah, maybe it was I don't know. It's named Carol now.
Carol was hidden at the time.
But they all got together and they decided that they were going to name it after this astronaut's late wife because she had been part of the team. You know, she was.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
It is sweet.
God, you're such a jerk.
You know, the toilet doesn't work up there.
It doesn't work?
They were saying that they noticed a strange odor and they tracked it down to the toilet. Can you imagine being in a small spacecraft the size of this studio with 4 other people and a commode that doesn't work?
Look, I won't even go to our office toilet when somebody
else is in it.
Yes,
You know, the story I read said that they're using alternative devices, and I was like, they're pooping in bags. They're pooping in bags in space. That's what they're doing.
Oh, goodness. Well, today we have our wonderful guest, Aimee Yowell, who is a dear friend of mine, Coast Guard mother. She's also a hairstylist over at Salon Mystique, but her favorite people call her Bossee.
Bossee.
And so we're so excited to have her on. But first, we're going to thank our sponsors today,
thank
too.
our sponsors.
Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room. Big news out of Deep Eddy. We'll talk about
tell
later.
you about that later. Run, don't walk to the Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room while there's still time to sip and relax at one of the coolest hangout spots in Dripping. Sad, but you know what? We've had a good run with them.
Absolutely. South Star Bank.
You may not be a millionaire, but your banker should still make you feel like $1 million when you walk in the door. Stop into South Star Bank today.
Black Slate Construction.
Solid, trusted, reliable at a time when all those things are rare. Black Slate steps up every time.
And Black Slate Roofing.
Roofer scams are on the rise, and the only way to make sure you get the best roof with no surprises is to use a trusted local company. Call Black Slate Roofing today.
And while I'm flying in by the seat of my pants today, Mallet Integrity Team.
Mallet Integrity Team. When your agent decides to be an Instagram influencer, give the Mallet Integrity Team a call. They'll quietly give you the best real estate advice in town.
And welcome.
Welcome,
Aimee
Amy.
Yowell.
Thank you.
We're so
Glad to be
excited.
here.
Yeah, I met you, I guess it's been a couple years ago at Two Wild Sisters.
It has been a couple
Yeah.
years. I've been at my salon I'm currently at for 6.5 years. So
Which
it's been a while.
salon is what?
Salon Mystique.
Salon Mystique.
We
which
had them on
you
very
had
early on.
Misty on very early
And Michael,
on.
yeah, very early on. It was, like one of our first 20 podcasts, I believe.
They came in when we were in a closet. We
Mhm.
had a closet studio. Now look
Yeah.
what you get to come
Now
into,
look at
Amy.
This is like a palace.
We have a
Yeah.
bigger closet.
That's
We have a big, so you consider yourself a hair nerd.
Yes.
What does that actually mean, being a hair nerd?
Well, I think one of the main things it means is that when I meet somebody, the very first thing that I notice about them is their hair. And sometimes it's pretty fabulous and sometimes it's not.
We
So-
were going to talk about how we could embarrass somebody. Let's all look at Steve and see what we could do differently to Steve's hair. Should Steve grow it out?
Well,
Should
I
Steve-
know the
Should I get
person
hair
that cuts
plugs?
his hair, so therefore I'm not going to.
Thank you very
That's
much.
quite
We
nice.
do not want to hurt Leslie's feelings.
That's right.
She is a wonderful, wonderful person.
Yeah.
So, you've been doing hair for a very long time, and you've lived
Since
in
birth.
since birth. You've
Yeah.
lived in
Stop. I don't know what happened here. It just stopped all of a sudden. I want to listen to the audio from Aimee.
Do you grow it out?
Well, I know
Should
the
I
person
get hair
that cuts
plugs?
his hair, so therefore I'm not going to comment
Thank you
because I
very
think it looks
much.
quite
It
nice.
just
Do not
stopped
wanna
all of a
hurt
sudden,
Leslie's
so.
feelings.
That's
She
right.
is a wonderful, wonderful person.
Yes.
So, you've been doing hair for a very long time.
Let me.
I can start right up there.
I'm just gonna play. That was weird. I haven't had that happen.
Well, you've been doing. We're still on YouTube though.
That's
All
okay.
of our mess ups are on YouTube. You gotta do things.
All right, I'm gonna give you a cue, and you're gonna
Okay.
say, "So you've been."
So you've been doing hair a very long time.
Yes.
Is that what brought you here to Dripping Springs? The area?
No.
What brought
No.
you here?
I was actually a stay-at-home mom at the time, and my husband took a job in Austin, and we came to the area and checked out Dripping and kind of the Westlake area. And at that time, 19 years ago, Westlake was already too crowded, and we actually came to Nutty Brown Cafe, and our 3 little kids were running around all over, and we were like, this is going to be in our backyard,
Yeah.
and that's what sold us. So,
I think a lot of us came to Dripping and did that and fell in love with the area because of hanging out at Nutty Brown. It's a shame that's gone.
Was
It
it
is.
was it Cheeto? Is that what it was called? Cheeto the parrot?
Was
Oh,
it
yeah.
Cheeto the
Cheeto.
parrot in the cage? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cheeto the parrot. So, you lived. I guess when you first lived here, you lived in, not Belterra, High Point.
High
You
Point,
did. You did
uh-huh.
live. You lived in High Point.
Yep.
And then you moved off of 290, and now you live kind of out in.
Now we live on the south side of Blanco,
Yes.
closer to
The
Canyon
south
Lake.
side of Blanco? Ooh,
Mhm.
man.
And so she drives all the way from Belterra all the way
Yeah.
back over there. So all of the 3 kids went through Dripping Springs High School, and 2 of your kids did something that one of my kid did, and it was right out of high school. They decided to join the military.
Yes.
How was your mama heart when Wyatt told you that he was going to join?
I was very excited that he was going to go into the military. I'm a military brat, so that made me very happy. When he graduated and it got closer, I started having second thoughts about the whole
Yeah.
thing. And of course, when he shipped off to boot camp was the worst day. I mean, it ended up being a really good day, but
It was Steve.
Just
Steve
send in your first
he
one.
lived through it with me, and you were
Yeah.
kind of my mentor through that because Wyatt had already been through that.
right.
But because of that, we have met some amazing military moms. We call them our cool coastie
Mhm.
moms,
That's right.
and we've
There's a
really
lot of not cool ones.
there are a lot of not
Is
cool
Wyatt,
ones.
is Wyatt still in?
But it is
Absolutely.
still in. He's
Okay.
been in 10 and a half years.
Oh,
you
wow.
believe that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he going to go through full retirement?
That's
is that
his plan.
Yeah.
Barring any unforeseen
Yeah,
circumstances,
I
that's
think
his
that
plan.
For a lot of
yes.
people, that's the way to
And
go.
he even
Yeah.
served, believe it or not, in the Coast Guard. He even served overseas.
Oh, I
he
didn't
was-
know that was a thing.
He was in Bahrain. He actually was on a brand new boat, so he's what's called a plank owner.
Okay.
So he sailed a 150-foot boat with a crew of 27 from Key West, Florida, all the way to Bahrain.
Isn't
Oh
that
my
crazy?
Took a month.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, they got into some kind of crazy waters, like off the Sea of Oman. It's real hostile, and so they
Yeah.
had a naval destroyer, which 150-foot boat, naval destroyer escort makes
Yeah.
those things look like
Well, I was going to
toys.
say 150 foot sounds good until you're out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh yeah, took them 14 days to get from
Wow,
Puerto Rico to Spain.
crazy.
14
So
days.
why does a Coast Guard cutter go to, what is it, Oman?
They were in Bahrain.
Bahrain.
Why?
So we actually, the Coast Guard actually has military, or maritime influence all over the world, and so everyone, most people think that it's the United States Coast Guard, which
Yeah.
because that's what it says, but they actually have places all over the world that they serve, and they are. I know I'm going to say this wrong, but basically the United States Coast Guard is the boss, if you will,
Mhm.
of maritime law worldwide.
Okay.
So even on things like aircraft carriers, they usually have a team of coasties, because if they come across another nation's boat and for some reason they feel like they need to go board.
They can board without being a
Oh.
declaration of
Right,
of
they
war.
can board basically without permission.
Okay.
And if the Navy did that, it's a declaration of war.
Okay. Wow,
So-
that's pretty cool. I did not know that. Learn
Yeah.
something new every day.
Yeah.
They're actually the largest organization, though. I mean, they do everything from environmental studies. I mean, they've got boats up in Antarctica that are doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they do so many things that the average person.
And
is
it's
not
the, it's
knew
aware
the
of.
about the
smallest
Antarctica
it's the
stuff.
smallest branch too, but I
Mhm.
feel like
Right.
it's such a tight knit group of people. Even Tate's been out 2.5 years,
Which is
maybe 3 years.
crazy.
Yeah, I know. And I mean he's still like Easter weekend. He
Yeah.
spent it with one of his Coast Guard.
I think it's a
buddies.
little like being a Marine. It's like once a Marine, always a Marine.
Yeah.
Once a coastie, always a coastie.
Yeah.
You build those friendships and
Sure.
and you maintain them over a lifetime.
Well, it's a really tight, like I said, it's a very tight knit community. So much so that when your daughter graduated, she decided to join. And her daughter Grace is very similar to my daughter. They're very strong-willed. Dare we say bossy?
I would say that's
And,
appropriate. I don't know Grace, but
Yes, but so Grace decided also to join the Coast Guard,
Yes.
and now she's a mama with 2 precious little babies.
She is. So she joined kind of for a different reason. She really wanted to go to school, and she did not want to have any debt. So she decided that if she served her country, then she could let them pay for it.
Yeah.
That was really her goal. I mean, completely unlike Wyatt. So yeah, that's what she did. She was in for, I think, 5.5 years or so. And she met her husband, who was Air Force.
Air Force. Mm-hmm.
And she got out, and she had 2 babies, and then got out, and her husband got out, and now they live in San Angelo, and she's a student and a mom of 2 toddlers, and her husband works on wind turbines.
out in San Angelo. Oh,
Yeah.
that's probably the only, besides the school there, that's probably the only job you could have out there.
Right.
San Angelo, there's not much else there.
They're actually getting ready, though, to move to Lubbock. He did his training in Lubbock, and so they're under contract. They're buying. Yeah, my daughter is going to be 27 on June 4th.
And is her 3rd house,
And she
right?
is buying her
That's
3rd house.
crazy. Wow. My oldest lives in Lubbock, and they're looking to get out. I think it's kind of a different town. There's like right around the college is really nice and well kept, and then you go a block away and it gets a little run down.
Right.
Tumbleweeds.
A lot of tumbleweeds for sure.
Yeah.
Aimee, you and I have something in common. I'm also a Navy brat.
Okay.
Grew up. My dad did 30 years in the Navy before he retired.
Nice.
Did you enjoy that part of growing up, moving around and being, kind of chasing your dad's job in the Navy?
I mean, I would say I just didn't really know any better. I mean, I was only 12 when we moved to Texas, which was
Yeah.
his final duty station. So, I mean, I think I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember having any negative, other than saying goodbye to friends.
That's the part that I remember. We used to, you'd have these tearful goodbyes, and especially high school that time. We're going to keep in touch, and back then there
Right.
was no email or anything. We're going to write letters,
Yeah.
and everybody writes one letter, and then that's it, and you never talk to them again. I've since connected with some of the people that I grew up with, but God, you don't see somebody for 40-something years.
Mm-hmm.
The conversations can be pretty short.
Yeah,
You kind of
for
catch up
sure.
a little bit, and then.
You're like,
And
done.
we don't really have anything in
Yeah.
common
And
anymore.
you're like, okay,
so
bye.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it. It was I thought it was good. We did a lot of overseas stuff. It was a great way to grow up. But there are some things about it that are challenging.
Yeah, for sure. I
Well,
mean,
speaking of challenging, your brother also joined the military,
Yes.
and your brother is a Purple Heart recipient as well. But
Yes.
he has a nonprofit that you're a big supporter of, Spirit of. I don't have it written down. What is it? Spirit of the Hero. Spirit of the
Mhm.
Hero. Can you talk about what that is a little bit?
So that is, my brother is a 2-time combat veteran and Purple Heart recipient,
Uh-huh.
like you said, and he served in the 82nd Airborne. And I think he told me it's been like 13 or 14 years ago, which is totally crazy. He was watching the news in Dallas. He was just watching the news, and there was a story that had hit the news about this guy, Travis Mills, who was struck by an IED and came home as a quadruple amputee. And his story only made the news because his wife's family was from the Dallas area. And my brother looked at his wife and said, I want to send this guy my paycheck. And my sister-in-law said, no, you can't do that, but, let's do something. So within probably 3 to 4 months, actually not even that long, they organized a motorcycle ride, a benefit motorcycle ride. And it was one of those crazy things where, like, everywhere they went, people were receptive to helping them. I mean, they went to, what's it called? Texas Roadhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just having dinner, Texas Roadhouse. And they asked the waitress if they could put up a flyer. And she was like, well, hold on a minute. I'm not sure, but the owner is here. So the owner comes out, and he says to my brother, well, how many people are you expecting? And my brother says, I don't know. I mean, we're hoping for 300. And he said, well, who's doing the food? And my brother was like, I haven't thought about the food. And he said, we're doing all the food. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to make plates. We're going to sell them for $10 a plate, and 100% of the proceeds are going to go to the foundation.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't even a foundation
Yeah.
then. It was just, so it was just everywhere he turned. And so he was hoping to have 300 bikes.
Is this your brother Rick?
It is.
Yeah.
They had 1,700 bikes. They were hoping to raise $10,000. They raised, I think it was 40 some odd thousand.
Wow.
And opened lots of doors, including a congressman out of Dallas, and his assistant specialized in nonprofits. And she, basically right when that was over, she's like, what are y'all doing? This needs to be a full-blown nonprofit. So she helped them get the ball rolling, and they turned it into Spirit of a Hero. It is called Spirit of a Hero because Travis Mills was hurt in April, and the doctors at Walter Reed told him that it's about an 18-month process. When you lose your legs, apparently, as you heal, they put you on like little bitty, like little knobs, if you will, to get your balance.
Mm-hmm.
And then you eventually graduate to size up to, he's 6'2". And so they said it's going to take about 18 months to walk. And he took his first steps in the beginning of June. He was blown up in April, and
Jeez.
told the doctors that he would be standing at attention in September when his guys got back from Afghanistan. And he was on the ramp at Fort Bragg, standing when they got home.
Oh man, I just got
So-
I got
I
goosebumps
mean,
about
that is Spirit of a Hero right
Yeah.
there. Jeez.
Steve and I talk a lot about the political climate, and especially right now, surrounding military and just kind of what's going on in the world. How are your feelings as a military mom right now? Kind of the disgusting things that you hear out there.
Well, I think my perspective might be a little bit different than a lot of people because I am a military mom, and I am a military brat, and I have a brother who's very, very involved in military, not only, people who have been hurt, but I mean, he's also part of a Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association. It's all military guys and whatnot. So what I see is a lot of support. I see a lot of, like my brother, for example, every single time he sees a Vietnam guy, he goes up and usually hugs them and tells them welcome home. And I see a lot of that kind of stuff. I hear behind the chair, I hear everything from our president is a psychopath, and what are we doing to, it's fine, it's about time we did something.
Mm-hmm.
As a mother, I'm real selfish, and I'm real thankful that my son is not in Bahrain anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and he is safely in Galveston just working on some boats. So, yeah, I mean, I think those things are necessary.
Yeah,
But
I feel like the media pretty much across the board is negative on anything that happens with the military now. I saw a yesterday, the rescue, the heroic rescue of the F-15 pilot in Iran, and all the hundreds of people, personnel that were involved in that. And the NPR article was, people don't realize how dangerously close that mission came to failure. And I was like, you could say that about every great thing that's ever happened.
Yeah.
You know, instead of saying hundreds of people stepped up in the military and got this guy rescued, and look at all these pieces that fell into place and all these people that went out of their way to make this work. They point out all the negatives, and I see that a lot. That's got to drive me crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely see a lot of that kind of stuff.
I wish we could change that somehow. I don't know how do we do that? The media in general is just piling on all the time on the military.
They just stop listening.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's I know the mornings that my husband and I don't turn on the TV, they're so much more peaceful.
True.
They just really are.
Yeah.
You know, so everybody has an agenda. And
I wish you're talking about. Everybody has a right to their opinion. Everybody has a right to talk about whatever they want, and I fully support that. But it does seem like there's this huge divide in the country right now. Like, you probably very rarely have somebody sit in your chair that's sort of middle of the road. Doesn't it seem like most people are kind of deeply divided? I wish I knew how to.
But also, the great thing about Aimee is what I love about her is that it doesn't matter who sits in her chair. It doesn't matter if they believe left, right, center, purple.
You and I try and take that too. It doesn't matter who sits in this podcast chair and what their beliefs are. We're going to respect them and listen to them and have a conversation with them.
Yeah,
but I'm sure, those little scissors,
yeah, there's a couple times I'd like to do a little.
Just a little stab.
Yeah.
Just a little stab.
Do people sometimes try and get you to talk about your political ideology?
No, I mean, yes and no. I'm in a salon suite, so the door's closed.
Okay.
And quite frankly, I can't think of a topic that hasn't come up. So we talk about everything. And I do have clients that their opinions differ from mine greatly.
Yeah.
And, as long as it's respectful, I mean, I can tell. I can get a vibe on. I mean, if you're sitting there with color on your hair, I'm not going to pick a fight. I mean, that's going to be super awkward. So there are some clients that I can respectfully talk to them about politics, and there's some clients that we just don't really go there.
Stay away from it.
Because it's pretty divisive.
Have you ever had to fire a client?
Absolutely. And yeah, it's very empowering whenever you actually have the nerve to just be like, this is not working.
This is toxic for you. It's toxic for me.
Is it because it makes you uncomfortable, or is it because you don't want to be subjected to it, or what?
The firing just kind of depends. I am really, really big on respecting other people's time. I try very hard to stick to my schedule, and nothing pisses me off more. Like, if you go to the doctor and you have a 2:00 appointment and it's 2:50 and you're still sitting there twiddling your thumbs and nobody has said anything, I just think it's incredibly rude. And so I have had a few clients over the years that will either cancel last minute or no show, those kinds of things. And life happens. Let me start there. Life happens. So if it's something that's can't be helped, it's very understandable. It's unfortunate. It's inconvenient, but life happens. If it's somebody who's just rude, then they just need to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm too old for that.
I'm sorry I'm a half hour late, but I'm going to stop at Starbucks and get a coffee.
Exactly.
I'll be there in 15 minutes.
And we have a little cafe that does coffees and everything in our salon.
Yeah.
And so when someone's a little late and then they come in and beeline it to the cafe, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
He will take your order in my room. Like, let's go.
Come on back over here.
I think that's a common theme in just about any industry. You have people that will show up right on time or 5 minutes early. My wife's always 5 minutes early to everything. And then you have some people that they're always late and just trying to gauge how much. And
if you're 15 minutes early, you're on
right
time.
on time.
You're on time.
Yeah.
It's military. Yeah. It's military time. I want to talk about something that kind of changed the trajectory of your life too, and also your daughter's life. But you lost your mom when she was fairly young.
Yes.
How old was your mother when she passed?
She was 49.
49. And she passed away of?
Metastatic breast cancer.
So at what point did you decide, or was it suggested to you, to get the genetic testing of the BRCA gene?
So my OBGYN, she probably started suggesting that in, I don't know, 2015. I mean, I was, whatever I was, I don't know how old I was then. I'm not going to do the math, but either way, so she started suggesting it, and back then, it's just a blood test, but back then it was something like $4,000 or some. It was
because it wasn't covered by insurance.
Because it was not covered by insurance at that point, and so each year I would go in, and each year she would be like, "You should really think about this," and and my mom died in 1996, so she died way, way before there was any of this kind of information out there. And
was Wyatt born yet?
No, Wyatt was born in 97.
Okay.
So she actually died on my husband's birthday, June 13th, 96, and I was due with Wyatt June 13th, 97.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty crazy. But anyway, so she died before all of that. And so finally in 2019, I went in and my doctor said, "Are we going to do the BRCA test today?" And I was like, "No, I'm not going to spend that money." And she said, "Well, not to get on the topic of politics, but thanks to some things that Obama had done, it's now covered under insurance." And so then I was like, well, yeah, by all means, because fortunately, being a hairstylist, I have no benefits, but through my husband, I've got pretty great, stuff. So
before you go on, can you tell us what that is, what this test involves, or what
the gene mutation?
Yeah, but just give us an overview, because some people listening may not know what it is.
Yes, so I have BRCA2, which means it's just a blood test, and that is for breast, ovarian, pancreatic, and melanoma cancer.
Okay.
So that means I have genetic mutations that could basically develop any of those four. Now that's not a guarantee that they will or won't develop. That's the weird thing. You can have no BRCA and get cancer. I mean, it's not a guarantee. It's just having some more knowledge. There is BRCA1, which is like 15 different things. I mean, it's
15 different types of cancer.
Yeah, it includes like gallbladder and bile duct, and I mean, there's a whole slew of things. And and it's weird because it's all based on percentages. So, and it's lifetime. So the pancreatic is like 4% lifetime, meaning goes to 4% when I'm 80.
Okay.
Melanoma is the same thing. I think it's like 7%. But breast and ovarian I was in the upwards of the 90th percentile.
Really? 90% chance you would develop one of those cancers.
Yeah, and it was for mostly breast.
Wow.
How long did it take you to get the results?
About a month.
So that month
and it's
time.
just a blood test.
Just a blood test.
Okay.
That time period before you knew, right? What was going through your mind about that?
So the weird part is I had the blood test and then just was like left and just do, like no big deal. And I actually called my husband and I said, "Oh, so I had the BRCA test today. I get the results in a month, whatever." And I really didn't think about it again. And we went on vacation, and I knew as soon as we got back from vacation, I had to go get the results. And for some weird, I wasn't worried at all. And he offered to go with me to get the results, and I was like, "No, it's just a meeting with my doctor. I don't need any results."
Yeah.
And I went in there, and she had a fairly thick pamphlet binder kind of thing
in front of her,
and she's awesome. And she walked in, and she's like, "How you doing?" And I said, "I'm good." And she goes, "Well, I got the results, and you're in the very high percentage positive." And it hit me, and I mean, I immediately started to cry just for a second, and I told her, I said, "I think I'm responding this way because for some weird reason, I mean, I wasn't worried at all, and I didn't think I had that." And like I said, it doesn't actually matter. I mean, it matters, but it doesn't, because you can get you can not have BRCA and get breast cancer.
Yeah.
So, But I went out to my car. I called my husband to tell him, teared up a little bit more. He asked me if I was okay, if he needed to come home. I said no. And he said, okay, we'll talk about it later. And I said, okay, well, I'm starting right now. I'm making all the appointments for I'm taking the extreme
And
measures.
at that moment, that when the doctor gave you that diagnosis, the options were to go full hysterectomy, full mastectomy.
Is that what your doctor recommended when she
No.
went through the test results? Okay.
No, she just gave me the options and told me, it's strictly up to me. But she did say that if I chose not to do the hysterectomy and the mastectomy and that kind of stuff, that her recommendation would be every 6 months a mammogram, and then 6 months later a breast MRI, and then 6 months later a mammogram for the rest of my life.
Oh.
And first of all, I don't want to do any of that. And
Yeah.
second of all, I would absolutely lose sleep.
Yeah, you'd live in fear
I'd
every
live in
6
fear.
months.
Yeah,
for sure.
the 6 months from now, you're going to get a positive result, and
Exactly.
just over and over and over.
Yep, exactly.
So you scheduled all the appointments, and then how long after you got the first test results did you get the procedures?
So I got my results like mid-June, and I had a full hysterectomy in August.
Wow, jeez.
I actually went in. That's everyone's different. My hysterectomy was easy peasy. It was a day surgery. I literally probably could have worked the next day. It was very easy. Ironically, the doctor came in after my surgery and he said, well, it's a good thing that we took out your uterus because it was extremely large and there was probably about an inch lining of endometriosis. And he said, I can just about guarantee you within the next 2 years you would have had full-blown uterine cancer.
Oh my gosh, Aimee.
jeez,
And so then I said, what about now? And he goes, well, now it's gone. And I was like, oh, okay.
So much of, as a woman, our identities are tied up in our appearance, and you have 3 children, you have a set of twins, our breasts, our uterus, our cervix, all of that stuff is just kind of tied up of who we are as women. How did that change your idea of who you are?
It really did not change my idea at all. Fortunately, I have a husband that loves me no matter what. I currently weigh 145 pounds and he likes me right now, but I weighed 270 pounds at one point and he loved me then and loved me right after I had my boobs removed and after I got them fixed and all the in-betweens. And so for me, I didn't have any identity crisis or feel less of a woman or any of that kind of stuff. I think that's very personal. Not to change the subject, but that's kind of how I feel about people who decide that they're going to change their bodies and become a boy or whatever. Having my stuff removed, I didn't feel like I was less of a woman. So,
well, that just goes to show the strength and tenacity of Richard also, who, by the way, you were engaged to after 28 days of meeting him on a blind date?
Yes.
So Richard's an extraordinary guy. We don't talk about our husbands enough or our spouses enough in that sense. And I'm wondering what you felt was going through his mind too while you were doing all of this. Fear?
I don't necessarily think it was fear. I think that he just kind of sat back quietly and let me make all the decisions. I would run it by him and see what he thought.
Was he open with his input on what he thought?
He was. Skipping ahead a little bit, the one thing that he spoke up about, so I had the rest of that story, I'll make it just kind of quick, so that was August of 2019 is when I had the full hysterectomy. January of 2020, I had what's called a skin-sparing double mastectomy. So they go in and cut underneath. They take out as much as your breast tissue as they can, and then they put in expanders. And then all hell broke loose with COVID. So I was choosing to have what's called a deep flap surgery. I didn't really want to do implants if I didn't have to. And I had plenty of my own tissue that I could make some pretty nice boobs with. So, so they cut me from hip to hip July 1st of 2020, in the middle of COVID. I was like Rapunzel. I was the only patient on the 5th floor at St. David's, Maine in Austin. And I underwent a 13-hour surgery.
Oh,
so
goodness.
they cut me from hip to hip. They raised up my stomach skin. They took a bunch of blood vessels, put them up in my breasts, and then took my belly fat and put it up in my breasts.
That's crazy.
And then closed me up. My surgeons are incredible.
And your body is amazing.
And
The fact that you were able to regenerate all of that and not have any tissue death or
Right. I
anything
mean,
else.
I've been told by all of them that I'm a good healer, fortunately. So the only input that Richard had was the doctor. So my surgeon, after I had the surgery, because she took my nipples and areolas and everything, so she made what I called buttons. So they were like little bitty scars that made, just basically like a nipple. And then there was an option to do areola tattooing. And, and I was like, I don't know. No one's going to see this, and all that. And I could tell that he was hesitant, but, one morning I was like kind of going, I don't know if I'm going to do this or not. And he said, I kind of feel like you should, because I feel like it looks sort of weird without that. And, and I feel like he was pretty careful with the way he said it, but
chose his words carefully.
But I completely took that into consideration, and I did it, and it was, the amazing part is, if you have good insurance, all of it was covered under insurance.
Oh, goodness.
Every bit of it.
So a couple questions. So during that time, that was the time your family couldn't come in. You're in the hospital recovering. Could your family come in and visit you?
Well, fortunately, I was in the hospital for 5 days, so my surgeon allowed my husband and my 2 boys. I had a son in San Antonio at the time in college. My daughter was far away, so she couldn't, and my son Wyatt came home, and so she allowed them, very short visits, but they could come in for, a couple minutes.
That was a weird time. I'm glad that they were able to come in. The second question, so after you had all that surgery and the complete hysterectomy, how's your body been adjusting since then? Like with Dr. Gretchen, or with
Palmer.
Gretchen Palmer,
uh-huh.
I said doctor, but she's a RN, but we were talking about hormones. How's your body adjusted since then?
I mean, I've been really lucky. After the hysterectomy, they just put me on like the estradiol gel on my arm, and that's really all I've needed.
That's what I use too. Some days I'm like squirt, 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 squirt.
Exactly.
Can you tell when you need more?
I mean, it's like a full pump, right? But there are days when I feel like maybe I need an extra little half pump,
right?
A little boost.
Do you get that, Aimee? Where sometimes you think, I just need
just a little extra.
Yeah.
And is it because you're tired or you're grouchy? How do you know?
I don't know.
I'm asking for all the husbands out there.
My skin is dry, and if we're being real, I mean, like last December I ran out and I decided, like, I'm gonna see how this goes a couple weeks without, because I've been on it for 5 years or whatever. And like overnight, the vaginal dryness was like super real. I mean, that was a very real thing.
But everything. So I don't advise you to go grab the bottle and just, if Holly's grouchy,
please,
just like
yes.
here, squirt.
Public disclaimer. Yeah.
Don't
we don't offer medical advice on the Mel and Michelle podcast.
We may have to offer legal advice because murder is illegal. But
That's right.
there is some real fear in knowing your genetic risk. And you kind of circumvented that, and you took that power back and control back. But there is also power in having the knowledge that you have.
Sure.
And so now you have a daughter and you also have a granddaughter. And so having that knowledge passed on to them, obviously it's a personal choice for them. What would you say to anybody that is kind of facing this same situation that you did?
Well, the biggest thing that you did not mention is that the statistics are 1 in 100 men will get breast cancer in their life.
Really?
So my daughter actually has been tested already for BRCA, and she's negative.
Okay.
Now that doesn't mean that she doesn't need to watch and all that. She's very big busted, so she needs to keep an eye on things, but she does not carry the gene apparently. My boys, I have asked them time and time and time again to please get tested, and they keep telling me that they will, but I think they're just, appeasing their moms.
It's interesting to me, Aimee, because I didn't even realize that. I mean, it's something that's really touted as a woman's issue,
Right.
especially the BRCA gene, and I did not even realize.
Well, that's so. Do you know if you get the test, if you're a man and you get the test, does it show you if you have a propensity for testicular cancer?
It's testicular and prostate, along with breast.
It will show you that.
Mm-hmm.
So same levels like women. There's BRCA1, BRCA2.
Right.
That is very interesting.
Yeah. So my brother, I think he has the BRCA gene, but he had his first mammogram before his wife.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one in 100, which is pretty low, but still, you want to. I mean, any chance that you're going to get cancer.
I would pay money to see a man get a mammogram.
Oh, I know.
I would.
I know. You should just do that on your YouTube
well,
channel.
actually, when you said that, I was like, how does that work? I don't. But maybe I don't want to know.
It would be. I think that would be pretty difficult because there's just not. I mean, well, some men have plenty of tissue, but there's lots of guys that don't.
Man boobs.
Yeah.
Man boobs for sure. Do you live any differently now than you did prior, just kind of like with this knowledge?
Well, I'd say yes and no. I mean, there are things over the years that I have done, and I understand that I can go out and get hit by a bus tomorrow. I mean, but I quit smoking 10 years ago and did all the BRCA stuff. And, as I got closer to the age where my mom died, everything became much more real on wow, I mean, we're getting closer, right?
Yeah.
Because this is a test that, if it was available then, possibly could have saved your mother.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? And she was the first and only person in her family to have breast cancer, so, there's no rhyme or reason. And I would say since I had the BRCA, definitely, I hit 50. That was a huge milestone. I mean, it's a huge milestone in anybody's life, but I lived past the age of my mom. So when I hit 50, my weight was still fluctuating some, and that's when I went to my doctor and I was like, okay, this is the final step. Like, I feel like I've done a pretty good job with getting everything else in a healthy place, and I need to get this under control once and for all. So I did the GLP-1 for some time.
But you look amazing, girl.
And thank you. And just, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still love sugar and I love carbs and
champagne.
All that. And champagne.
I love my
for sure.
champagne.
Have you since gone off it? The GLP-1?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
when you went off that, what happened? What side effects? Because I'm hearing all kinds of crazy things happen when people go off that.
So it's very weird, and it totally makes me mad when people are like, I just forgot to eat, or whatever, those kind of dumb things. But I actually went off it in October and thought, I'm gonna test myself through the holidays, and since October I've lost about another 25 pounds.
So for you, it changed your habits
For
to
sure.
the point where even if the cravings came back, your habits were different.
Right.
Huh. How long were you on it, the GLP-1?
For 2.5 years.
Oh, really? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've been on it 10, 12 years, whenever they first invented it. Bieta,
Yeah, but sometimes you eat
Victoza.
pickles for lunch, so
I do. But I mean, mine's not necessarily what I eat. I don't
Well,
think.
yeah, I was reading something the other day. There's a whole bunch of things that GLP-1 injections help with, besides just cravings and diabetes, and you take it for
Anger control.
anger control. It doesn't work, Michelle.
I was gonna say, hold on.
I take it because my A1C.
Because my husband takes Ozempic for he's actually diabetic.
Yeah, so that's why my insurance.
But they were
But I think that
talking-
he takes ranch water for anger.
I think I saw something the other day that there's been studies that it helps with Alzheimer's and dementia.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Cardiovascular.
Cardiac stuff.
My lupus is kind of in remission because of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
They won't actually say it. Like one doctor will say it versus another doctor will say it,
Yeah.
but
Right.
which is nice. And I still get crazy inflammation. You know, if I'm up on my feet staging, my feet will still
Yeah.
swell and.
It's
But-
seemingly though like becoming, I mean, more and more a miracle drug.
Hey, for
I
me,
mean,
I'm glad I
truly.
don't have to poke or prick my finger all the time to check my blood sugar. I
Yeah.
can notice,
Oh,
you know,
yes.
where I'm at right now. Well,
Yeah, and I've done a little microdosing.
that's
With
see,
the
we have we
GLP-1?
have
Mhm.
What is that? How?
just
what is
we are
my-
like at a 2.5. I
Yeah.
have friends. I can't do that because mine's already preloaded.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you
So
do
that's-
the vial
Mhm.
syringe? Okay.
Yeah, so like whatever, it's monthly or, you know, kind of whenever I feel
Mhm.
like it. But, you know, so it's not the consistent thing anymore, but just, you know, just to kind of keep myself in check. But the biggest, I mean, yeah, the biggest thing is the habits. I mean, I need to add more exercise and more, you know, that kind of stuff. But
Protein. I
Right.
know. Exercise. It's
Yeah,
sweating,
exercise,
Amy.
ew.
I'm going to go out
disgusting.
on a limb and say you probably get plenty of exercise. You just don't get what's called the traditional exercise,
Right.
where you go to the gym or go run around the
That's-
soccer.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what I
according-
do.
According to my little ring, I mean, I get
You're
lots of
doing
exercise.
fine. Yeah.
What
yeah.
was I doing a couple of weeks ago? And I was staging, and I
Yeah.
said, Steve, my watch picked up that I'm exercising.
That's
See,
right.
I
I
exercise.
exercise.
That's right.
Amy, I want to go back and your hair career, and
Mm-hmm.
you have this studio at Salon Mystique. What got you into doing hair in the first place? Because you've been doing it like 30 years, right?
Her mama.
Yes, my mother was a hairstylist, so I literally grew up in a salon.
Okay.
I actually have a very, very cute picture in my salon suite where I'm like 2, and I have 3 rollers in my hair, and I'm sitting under
Aw.
the dryer in my mom's salon. So I grew up, I mean, with that influence, and when I was in high school, my mom, you know, was trying to convince me to take the cosmetology
Mhm.
classes, and I was like, ew, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I did that, and it really did no good because the teachers, I mean, it was fun, but the teachers didn't do anything. So
You knew a lot of the stuff already? Is that what you mean?
I did, but like the teacher sat in the office on the phone with her boyfriend is what I
Oh.
mean. So there was like no real teaching
Yeah.
going on. So my mom realized, you know, at the end of my junior year that was complete waste. So my senior year I didn't do it, but I had earned about half my hours. So after I graduated, did like a semester at college, and then I decided I wanted to be a paramedic. So I went through EMT and paramedic training and all that stuff, and I worked. No, that's not true. I actually went to cosmetology school first, and because my mom said, even if you don't use it, you'll always be able to get a job. And she said, no matter what the economy is,
People are getting their hair
women
did.
will
Yep.
not give up getting their hair done. They'll
Mhm.
give up nails, lashes, you know, whatever. They won't give up getting their hair done.
That's
That's-
100% true.
And it is.
Yeah, I
It
get
is
it.
true.
It is sage advice for sure.
And the other thing my mother told me, and I never forgot it, is if you go in any room in the world, take a group of people in any room, there's one thing in the room that they have in common, and everyone's getting a haircut. And, you know, so I always kept that in mind. So I went to cosmetology school. It was fun. My mom had a salon. I worked there for about a week before she kicked me out and told me to go somewhere and get some experience. So I went to, it was called Sheer Cuts. And honestly, every stylist starting out should do something like that because it's
The churn and
certainly-
burn.
Is it
It-
volume?
It's
Just like,
it's quantity over quality
yeah.
for
Mhm.
sure. And so I did that and worked at, my girlfriend and I worked at like Regis at the mall and
Mm.
all that. But it
And
was
did you practice on the kids?
no, I didn't have any kids. I mean, I was like 19 at the
Oh,
time.
oh.
Yeah, this is before I ever even met Richard. And then, but I did that for a while, and I was like, this is not what I want to do. Like, and so then that's when I decided I want to work in trauma medicine. And I went to EMT and paramedic school. And then I worked at Care Flight in Dallas.
Jeez.
They have the helicopters, but they also have Care Flight ground. It's,
Yeah.
You know, just you have to do like 15 years for the helicopters. I didn't
Yeah.
do that. I was on the, on the ambulance on the ground, and loved it.
Huh.
Loved it. One of my very first calls was, I mean to tell y'all, it was like straight out of a movie. I was working in Southeast Dallas, and we get this assault call at the Southern Comfort Motel. And I'm not even kidding. And I'm so green and so freaking naive from the country. And we show up, and it's actually, like, literally a 50-year-old black crack whore. Like, actually. And she had gotten beat up by a John because she tried to rob him.
Oh.
And she had a big laceration on her head and broken ribs. And, you know, the police tell me when we get there, double glove, and we walk in, you know, there's just drug paraphernalia and used condoms all over the room, no sheets on the bed. I mean, it was so disgusting. It was literally something out of a movie. So we get back to the station, and I call my mom in suburbia USA, and I'm like, Mom, this was so cool. Like, you should have seen it. And she was like, Amy Lynn, you come home right now. And I was like, no, this is awesome. So I did that for a while, loved it. Back then, at least, you could make no money at it unless you got into firefighting, which, look at me. I mean, I'm not a firefighter. And my mom's cancer had gone, it was in her lungs at this point. And Richard and I were getting ready to get married. And my mom got really sick about three weeks or so before we got married. And we found out her cancer was in her brain. Oh, and so we sat down, and actually, after we got married, we sat down. Before we got married, my husband and I were planning on taking a honeymoon, and we hadn't been told officially that my mom's cancer was in her brain. The doctor waited until we got back, because my husband, part of the reason I married this guy is because he said, let's take your parents on our honeymoon. Oh, wow. And I said, what? And he said, we have the rest of our lives to take trips together. How long do we have to take a trip with your mom before she's not well enough to do so? So my parents went on my honeymoon with us.
That's
yes,
cool.
They did. And we actually had a really cool time. And then they told us her cancer was in her brain when we got home. And within a month, she started having vision problems. And her biggest concern was, who's going to take care of my people? And I just, like a light bulb moment, said, I am. And, you know, it was kind of a win-win because she had a really great clientele, so she made very good money. And, you know, I stepped into that. And then a lot of her clients, I could also keep them in the loop on how she was doing. She did pass away that following June. But anyway, so that kind of led into it. And then we had our oldest son. He was 8 months old. I went back to work when he was 6 weeks old. And then, you know, nobody could take care of him good enough. So at eight months old, I left the salon and stayed home for almost 15 years, because then we had twins 2 years later.
Life throws you curveballs.
And then here in Dripping, you know, finally I was like, I think my kids don't really need me as much. And so. And
then you started going back to cutting hair. And,
I'm surprised you have. I've been waiting for you to ask me if Amy does my hair, and Amy.
I'm pretty sure she doesn't, because you drive downtown.
I do drive down, and you know what I love about Amy is, as good a friend as she is, she also respects and admires loyalty, and she knows that I have been with my girl for 10 years. But Amy did do my hair during COVID.
I did, yes.
When my fancy downtown salon wouldn't even blow dry your hair, because apparently that will spread COVID or whatever.
Well, they would have been canceled. I think there was a lot of people that wanted to be open, but they were scared that there would be protests.
Well, then also
no, the law was, I mean, all salons were closed for 6 weeks.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Completely. I mean, the governor completely shut down hair salons for 6 weeks. But there's a couple days.
There was a couple of, and then also I think Amy and I went rogue, and we found our nail salon that would do our nails during that time too. It was like,
I think I remember you telling me that.
It's like a speakeasy. It was like knock 3 times, say the password, and you go in, and it's in the dark.
And now looking back, you guys were the geniuses, and all the people cowering in their houses with the 12 masks on were the ones.
That's right. And I got busted on social media because I had French tips, and I posted a picture on Facebook or something, goes, hey, where are you getting your nails done? Like every
I'm
time I go-
reporting you right
I think
now.
I ended up telling somebody like, oh, well, I mean, once upon a time I did do some nails and hair, and I was like, I'm just doing them by myself. They take so long, but I'm just doing them myself at home.
We were
Yeah,
liars.
right.
We were
Yeah,
liars.
right.
Amy, are you
Liars.
still taking new clients, or are you pretty busy these days?
I am taking new clients. I mean, I'm both of those things.
Yeah.
I'm pretty busy, but and every hairstylist has to run their business the way they
Mhm.
run it. But my philosophy is, if I have a spot, I'll be happy to take you. I don't double book. I believe that people deserve the undivided attention when they're in my chair. But occasionally I do have some time for some a new one, and I think the day that I say I'm not taking new clients, I'm gonna probably turn around and lose 5 clients, and then I'll be taking new ones
Yeah,
again. So
yeah, that's true.
Yes.
If somebody wants to reach out to you, how can they find out if you have an opening or not?
I would say probably the easiest thing to do would be to just text me.
Okay. You probably
and-
don't want to give out your text number here, so
I don't even care. I'll
to-
tell you.
All right, go ahead if you want.
It's area code 972-358-9360.
Okay.
And then you can go to Salon Mystique. You know what I love about doing this podcast is that for somebody that I've known as long as you and I have shared such a bond, having military kids, and I really have to publicly thank you so much for, you really helped me at the beginning when I was that scared mom, like, what the hell is my kid doing? And I didn't know anything, and when he went off to boot camp.
And I didn't know much more.
But you were a big help to me. But when you start peeling the layers off of somebody, and somebody has like an idea of who they think you are, oh, it's just Aimee, a hairstylist, or just Aimee, the Coast Guard mom, and now we have the greatest titles of all, which is grandma.
For sure.
That is like the best.
The
But
best.
it's wonderful to be able to sit down with a friend and just peel away some more of those layers and get to know you, and then also have other people get to know you as much
Yeah.
as
And
as much as I
I
do.
want to thank you for being so open and honest with your experience in life and the things that you went through and all the good things that came out of that.
Well, yeah, and if there's one
Of
thing you
course.
could say to somebody that was kind of on the fence about having that test and going through that experience, what would you say to them?
Get it. Just get it. I mean, it's a blood test. You have to have your blood drawn to check your vitamin D and your cholesterol and all that kind of stuff. It's literally the same thing.
Could save your life.
And it could potentially save your life. And there's
like
some amazing surgeons out there. I mean, I'd like to give a shout out if I could.
Yes,
to
absolutely.
Dr. Christine Fisher out of Austin. She has Austin Breast and Recovery, I believe it's called. And she is an absolute artist. I mean, she's super perfectionist, and that's who I would highly recommend. But
And having all the information, even if you decide not to do anything, having all the information is better than just ignoring it and not knowing.
Knowledge
Absolutely.
is power. Yeah, for
Yep,
sure.
knowledge is power for sure. Well, Aimee, thank you for joining us in the studio today.
Thank
I
you.
really enjoyed the time with you.
I feel like I should be on here from now on.
You
Yeah,
should.
you should.
Yeah. You should. We're just like, it's Steve, Michelle, and Aimee. That's
Yeah.
right.
Welcome to this person, and man, she really opened up about all of her stuff that she had going on in her life. More open than I expected her to be.
Yeah, I really admire Aimee, and I admire her and Richard and her children. And little tidbit I forgot to mention, her oldest son Wyatt and his wife Danny, I married them before he went off.
Oh,
to
yeah,
Iraq.
you were telling me that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and so
Well,
they're
neat
adorable.
family. Yeah, I'm glad that she joined us, and I knew I had known her from somewhere, so it was nice to put 2 and 2 together. Well, we got some startling and unexpected news in the last couple of days.
Sad. It is sad news. Founded in 2010, Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room is closing as of June 13th.
Yeah, we found out. Eustacio let us know. He's the one that helped us with the sponsorship for the podcast, which we thank them dearly for. We couldn't do the podcast without them. But yeah, it was unexpected. I guess they're going to move a little closer to Austin, and they're leasing that space out to another company.
They're going to sublet it to Good Night Loving Vodka,
Okay.
which is great vodka as well. But so, a couple of years ago, Deep Eddy Vodka moved their distillery portion to something bigger in Buda. And so they were running that. And I just think maybe financially it didn't make sense to them. So they're going to open up the market a little bit more to Austin. But in a couple of weeks, Eustacio is actually on the board of the chamber, Dripping Springs Chamber.
He's going to come on the podcast.
So he's going to finish out his term, but we're going to have him and Susan on in a couple of weeks, and they're going to talk about the comings and goings of the chamber. But also, I think it's going to be a big hole that is really going to be missed in Dripping Springs.
I agree. It's been, Deep Eddy Vodka has hosted so many big and small events here in town, and I don't know if that's going to continue, but it's...
I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to miss having that space and the good people that work there.
I think what we should do,
happens.
on the official day of them closing, we should take all of the rest of our little mini bottles that we have here. We should
just drink them
just
all on the
chug
podcast.
them all. Chug them all.
Yeah.
I think
It would take about 100 for you to fall under the table. It'd take 2 for me because I'm a lightweight.
No, it would take. I'm a lightweight.
Yeah,
I'm a
so
lightweight.
maybe 3 apiece. I think I still have 1 espresso vodka here somewhere, which I would definitely love to have. But we wish them great success.
Oh, absolutely.
They've been a wonderful sponsor.
We're still trying to decide. Maybe the Austin market. Maybe we'll still promote the Austin market. We don't know what that's going to look like. But whatever it is, you're exactly right. Your home may have been here in Dripping for the last
12 years.
12 years?
No, more than that. You said 2010.
10.
I was thinking it was 2014.
Oh, that's 16 years.
Yeah, I was thinking it was 2014. But yeah, I mean, they've been really good for the community, and so if you have time in the next month and a half or so before they close down, go by, say hi, thank them for being such a big part of the community, and wish them well.
Yeah, and I don't know honestly if they're going to have a tasting room or not in Austin. I don't know what that transitions to.
I'm not sure they're ready to announce.
We'll
what
ask
they're doing,
Eustacio all of the questions.
Yep.
But one of the other breaking news that happened in Austin was that Austin's staple of a food establishment, Chili's, at 45th and Lamar, is closing.
No way.
I know. It's like, they lost their ground lease. They have it for, I believe they have it for 3 more years. I'm not quite certain, but it's with no option for renewal. Chili's on 45th and Lamar, I think, has probably carried the entire Chili's franchise because that has been an Austin staple for years and years.
I know I've been there, but why has that been such an Austin staple?
It has kind of been given a life of its own, of course, with social media and people. It's like Dallas nightclub, and there was a lot of clubs down there, and people would go afterwards, and their queso was always amazing, but it just kind of had this folklore kind of
a lot of first dates.
A lot of when I was reading comments, and this lady said, I met my first 2 husbands there. My first 2 husbands. Someone said, we are not supposed to lose places like this in Austin.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like losing, what did I just totally, Shady Grove. Shady Grove. I mean, when that lost, someone also said it's like losing Leslie all over again. Yeah. And you know what? It kind of is. Like, I mean, I've been in Austin 30 years. Collectively.
We're losing some of the. You go down Congress, which used to be such a cool hip place with all the little local stores.
There's an Hermes on Congress now.
Yeah, and Nike and Lululemon, and I mean all the hot trendy brands. It's like a little small rodeo drive. We're losing a lot of the character in Austin that made it such a cool town.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of sad. Someone said, well, I guess there's going to be an apartment complex there now.
I was actually, as soon as you said that, I thought, they're probably going to put up an apartment complex because that's where the highest and best use for a lot of this land is. Where Runtex used to be down, there was a couple locations, but there was one right at the corner of Riverside and First. That got torn down. That was a staple running shoe store in Austin for years.
Is there no more Runtex anymore?
No, they're gone. That company's out of business. Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
They used to put coolers around Town Lake. All the runners that came out on Saturday would get drinks from their coolers. They were real. They sponsored all the running events, all their athletes, and then now it's just gone.
You and I were talking today about making real estate again. Mm-hmm. How about making Austin again? I mean,
I just don't know how you do. How do you do it?
I mean, BlackRock and all of these big corps have kind
Yeah.
of come in and taken over, and they're taking the
Yeah.
charm and the sexy away from it. I did read something when they were talking about the Deep Eddy closing, and Dos Olivos also closed its doors. Yesterday was its last.
The one right down across
Yes.
from Belterra?
Yeah, and someone wrote on the comments of that they are about 5 years too early for that store, and they really feel, and I feel the same way,
Oh,
is
wow.
that Belterra, the Belterra shopping center, all of that were from Target all the way to the Belterra shopping center. That's going to be the new Belterra, Texas. That's going to be Dripping Springs.
Yeah.
People, I think Dripping Springs proper are really going to struggle because everybody's
I
going to
hope
stop
you're
right there.
wrong.
I hope I'm
because,
wrong,
I
too.
mean, the character of the town of Dripping Springs is right here in the central area of Dripping. You know, even though we have the H-E-B and the Home Depot, you still got Mazamas and all the shops up and down Mercer Street, and what's the little restaurant here at the corner of 12 and Mercer? We've been there a million times. What's it called? The one right here behind us.
Pigpen?
No, Pigpen. We've been there a million
Sounds
times.
like
no, it's
Homespun?
Homespun.
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 Yeah.
Thank you. God, it sucks getting old. Folks.
You know what? It's also in the
Homespun.
afternoon, so like we're a little
Yeah,
tired.
it's
But
true. It's been a long day already.
so somebody that was on our podcast before, Katie Walker, she's opening up a brand new store over by Summer Moon. It's called the Drip Swag Shop, I believe, and it's
Yep.
going to have all college apparel and high school apparel and stuff like that. But she's a local girl. She graduated from Dripping Springs High School. So I say we try to support local when we can. And
Yeah.
look, let me tell you, if you are a local business out there and you feel like you're not getting the love, talk to us. Send us an email.
We'd
love to
sending
tell you what-
people to
yeah.
new businesses. We had what's her name from Monkeys came on. and
Yes.
her business seems to be booming, and I mean we want to keep the money local, keep the people local. We don't like it when people go into Austin to go shopping. We want the money to stay out here.
That's right.
Yeah. You know, I'm kind of a car enthusiast, car nut. I look at cars online all the time.
I just sent you something the other day about it's like a grand opening or a preview of the Coda apartments.
The condos out there. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to drive all the way out there for that because I've seen them already. But I've started looking into features on cars that should have never happened, and there's a follow up on
features on okay, wait, let me wrap my head around this. Features on cars that should have never have happened.
Things in cars that throughout time should have never existed.
Okay,
Do you remember back in the 80s, big rubber bumpers on cars?
Yeah, the
like
big,
it looked
and they
like
crack.
somebody,
Uh-huh.
and they had somebody slap a bumper on the front and the back. Those big, huge rubber bumpers.
Yep.
Here's a new one that's just come out in the last few years: fake engine noises through the speakers. Did you know that's a thing?
I didn't know
BMW actually started doing that.
That's stupid.
You would, your car just sounds all kind of calm and smooth, but through the speakers in the car, it puts this big rumbly noise, so you feel like you're driving something that you're not. That should have never happened. How about vinyl roofs? Remember vinyl roofs on cars?
Like under, like
no,
inside or
like
outside?
on the outside. Do you know
Oh.
what I'm talking about? The vinyl roof, like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have a black vinyl
Uh-huh.
roof, and after 10 years, it start to peel and crack.
What
and-
about the Pinto as a whole?
Well, the Pinto as a whole should have never happened. But here's one thing that is going to go away that's in most current cars, and I'm super excited about it, and we got to thank President Trump for doing this. And hopefully he'll also address the time change. because,
I knew you
come
were
on,
going to say
we're
that.
sick of
You
it.
were
Stop
gonna
it.
say
Stop it. But you have one on your car. I have one on my car. The auto start stop. So when you pull up
Oh
to
yeah,
a
no,
light,
they did. They did away with it. Yeah.
well, they did, yes. But so, do you have to turn yours off manually, or can
No.
you keep it off?
I can keep mine off, but if I push my brake further down, it'll activate it. So if I just put, I can.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so the White House is going all in on this, and they're saying that the car manufacturers don't have to put them in cars anymore, which I say hallelujah. It's a terrible thing. They think cars coming out in the next couple years will start to have that removed completely. You won't even have to push a button to turn it off, which is something else new. For a while, you didn't even have a button where you could turn it off, and then they started putting a button in there where you could turn it off, and that made it better, but still, we shouldn't even have that at all. The fuel savings for that are actually debatable. I read as much as I could, and it went from some were claiming that there was no fuel savings at all, and some were saying as much as 5%. I read one that said as much as 26%, which I think is crap. There's no way you're saving 20 unless you're pulling up to a light for 5 minutes while your car is off, and then your air conditioning doesn't run, and then when it's summer in Texas, you burn to a crisp.
If I put my car in park and my car's on and I sit there for like more than 5 minutes, it tells me that my car will turn off in an hour if I don't push the button again. Or something. Which is nice because you know, I mean, I guess if I'm gonna kill myself in a garage, it has to take longer than an hour.
There's a couple things that aren't in cars anymore that I actually kind of miss.
What, the windows that do like this?
No, I don't miss that. Isn't it funny how when you make the sign to somebody to roll your window down, you still do it like so anybody below 30 years old has no idea. I miss.
Oh wait, let me guess. The cigarette.
No, I don't
the
miss
cigarette
the
lighter.
cigarette lighter.
The cigarette lighter.
Yeah, I miss front bench seats.
Oh.
I know they're not sporty,
yeah.
but I mean, who doesn't want to drive down the road, cuddling with their their sweetie?
Because you don't want to die.
Well, I mean, it would be nice in a car that's more like maybe your second car that you have for cruising, but I don't even think they offer them anymore. I don't think you can get bench seats in the front of a car.
His first car or his first truck that when I met him was this old Chevy baby blue. I mean, you could hear it coming from you didn't need fake noises. You could hear it coming from a mile away. And it had a bench seat, and it had just the lap belt of the.
Oh yeah.
And you had to kind of adjust it. It didn't save me.
And you had to have a middle lap belt because when your sweetie's over there next to you, leaning on your shoulder, she's got to have a seat belt.
I had
too.
some good times in that truck.
Let
me tell you, I had some good times in that truck.
That. I was trying to think of other things. I think there should be more manual, stick shift cars. There's very.
You can do the paddle though. Do you ever do yours?
I drive mine with the paddle and it's fine, but most car manufacturers don't even offer stick shift cars. If you go to Europe, almost every model has at least one model that's stick shift. So I wish we'd bring those back.
Well, as you were talking, I was writing down some of the things that I do like that they have brought. Okay. One of them is AC in the seats and heater seats and steering wheel. I love that. I love an AC seat. Okay. I'm like, look, I have a bougie toilet just to have a heated toilet seat. That's nice. GPS now in cars, like all cars, which is really nice.
Well, it's CarPlay though.
Well, it's CarPlay, but still.
Well, you use your Lexus GPS.
I use my CarPlay.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, most people, I don't even think they need to put GPS from the manufacturer anymore because nobody uses that. Everybody's using CarPlay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I agree with that. The rear camera, that's really nice.
I know. I think almost I think that's
it's required now.
I think it is,
That's nice. And the push button for the rear door, like we used to go, because that door's and I'm short, so
I know.
To kind of
whenever you rent a car and it has where you have to reach up and
pull
it down, you're like, man, this is so much work to pull this thing down. Yeah,
there's some nice things that I have gotten in this new car.
I like heated seats. Heated seats are my favorite thing. The older you get, the more you like heated seats. Even in the summer, you're like, oh, my back hurts. I'll put my heated seats
and
on.
The older you get as a woman, the more the AC seats.
Oh, you need the AC seats.
It feels really, really good. But so April Fool's passed, right? Okay. I played a prank on Dripping Springs Neighbors page.
Did. It was a good one.
And I made a lot of people laugh, and I pistoled off a lot of people. So I posted on the Neighbors page that Buc-ee's was coming. They bought the old Dreamland property, and they were having something like 120
gas pumps. Would you say a football field size of field of jerky or something like that?
And then bathrooms and so on and so forth. So some people, they were like, oh God, I hope this is April Fool's. And some people didn't read the comments, and they were like, oh, I'm so excited. This is where, it's...
I think it was more the other way, wasn't it?
Affordable place to eat.
Cow.
Yeah, and then, apparently you heard this all the way to Wimberley,
there
right?
There were people in Wimberley were talking about, there's going to be a Buc-ee's in Dripping Springs.
Well, I had over 500 impressions, and for those of you that aren't in the social media world, it's like whether it was likes or hearts or comments, over just on the Neighbors page, I had over 500 people make comments or impressions of that particular post. But then I also had actual real estate friends calling me and saying that their clients are calling them and saying,
Should we sell our
should
house?
we sell? We around there? Oh, is that really true? Is that
Yeah.
happening? And I just want to say, thank you. You're welcome. I
Because they called, right?
They
thought
called.
of you as their real estate agent. That's what. Yeah, that's very good marketing.
Well, and you had brought this up before, and I was here for around. I think it was our sons, Logan and Colton's class that did this. One of the greatest April Fool's Days punk that they did was the high school kids. These high school boys put up a for sale or put a Walmart coming soon sign.
Yes.
On the corner.
This was before Instagram was really big.
Yeah.
Where the gas station that used to have the Burger King. Is Burger King still there? Across from the Valero?
No, that's not there.
Yeah, but there used to be a big field there, and there was a for sale sign, and somebody put Walmart coming soon on it, and the town. It was only on Facebook, and the town lost its mind.
Which is awesome.
John Thompson did that.
Well, no, he posted it, but the boys, the high school
boys
did it.
That's what it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was the one that posted the picture that drew. Yeah, because he was working for the city then.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny, but you're welcome. So people pay attention to what day it is.
Yeah, April 1st. I know there were some pretty good April Fool's jokes this year. I saw some pretty good ones. I think yours was the best. Though,
Thank you very much.
You know me, I'm a real big social media fan.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
And there's a further proof that TikTok is warping the minds of everybody in America. But there's this get-rich-quick idea on going around, it's trending on TikTok, where people are posting that every morning they're getting up and listening to Anita Way's 1979 hit, Ring My Bell.
Ring my
And that,
bell.
yes, and that I'm going to play it, actually.
Okay.
'Cause I'm only going to play like 3 seconds.
And why are
of it
they
because
listening to it?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
In a sec. They say that if you can't play too much because YouTube will kick us off. But they're saying if you play this song on repeat in the morning, you will have a life of abundance.
What?
And people are posting all these videos saying, I get up every morning and I play this song, and today I got a promotion, or today I won the.
They manifested it.
They didn't. I don't think they manifested.
Oh
it.
yeah, that's because they're going to have a life of
Yes,
abundance
yeah.
because they played a song.
Well, this started when Paris Hilton played the song when she rang the bell to close out the New York Stock Exchange, and then somebody just started claiming that listening to this disco song brings positivity in your life. So now people are posting these things. It's cool in a way that them listening to this song makes them see the good things that happen in their life. But it's also kind of a little scary to me that people are actually believing this crap.
Well, people need some positive to look forward
Yeah.
to. I mean, you know what? This podcast may not even air on Tuesday because we'll be blown up to smithereens.
It's true. Yeah, life doesn't guarantee you any tomorrows for sure.
No, I mean, hello. Steve's been taking the screws out of my chair for
That's
apparently for a
right,
couple of
that's right.
weeks now.
But the reason I pointed out is, what if the next trend is something troubling like
COVID.
like what?
Like COVID.
Like COVID. Like, hey, I do burnouts in my neighbor's lawn, and I won the lottery today. Or hey, when you throw your trash out the window going down 290, you're going to get a job promotion or something, where it's not good for
I know.
society, but people are going to recognize it and think that it's something trendy to do.
People are craving good news. They are
Well, I
just
know.
craving it. And you know what? If you don't see it, go make it. If you don't see it on social media, it's because they don't want you to see it on social media.
Well, that's the truth. I think, so I close out this story for me with, you don't need to listen to a song every day to recognize how abundant our lives are in this country. And even when things don't go your way all day long, at the end of the day, I know you can find positive things that happen to you. You just gotta look for them sometimes.
Yeah.
And if playing this song on repeat helps you see them, more power
You
to
do
you.
you.
That's
You
right.
do you.
That's right. Well, this was a fun episode. I was glad to have Aimee in here before, Aimee Yowell, and she was a really good guest, and we will catch up with you next week.
Yes, we shall have a